Hello my darlings, welcome or welcome back. If you watched my last video posted 2 days ago, then you know what we are up to today. We are starting a brand new week together of exercising, working out through yoga flows that I'm going to guide you through. We are taking a creative approach to Sun Salutations A and B to add a little bit of movement snack to our week, to our day. So if this sounds interesting, then keep on rolling because we're going to start practice in the next few seconds. Quick little disclaimer, I can't see you while you're practicing, so this is a general guidance for the flow, but as always, please listen to your own body, your own injuries, and if you've got any specific health concerns or some kind of conditions like pregnancies, etc., make sure to consult with your healthcare professional, your GP, whoever is available to you to make sure that this flow is okay for you to do. And all you need for today is a mat. I have not put music over this video just in case you want to play your own thing in the background, then it's not disturbing. I'm going to be starting with a little bit of warm-up at the back of my mat, standing upright with a slight bend in my knees, tall spine, sort of the sensation of rising upright from the crown of the head or lifting up from the chest. I have one hand on my belly and one hand on my chest to breathe against my hands and really just allowing this to become my point of focus, to release from the past, from the future, and just stay in the moment. So for a few rounds, just breathe into your hands, and when you're ready, gently start to move from there. I'm starting my movements from head down, so beginning with my neck, just tilting it side to side, noticing how the neck feels. You can take half circles, you can just lean to one side, breathe there for a few seconds and swap directions. Whatever really feels right in your body. I don't want to overguide this. This is just a warm-up, oiling up the joints, starting to bring some movement into the body. And then progressively from there, adding movement into the rest of the joints, the rest of the body. I am swaying side to side with my arms, my eyes are closed. I'm just allowing my body to really flop around and sort of be shapeless in these shapes, if that makes sense. And I'm going to be gradually taking it down towards my knees, my ankles. Some of these are borrowed shapes from Buddhistic practices. When I go to retreats, we warm up this way before meditation to prepare the body to sit down for a while. We're just picking up that energy, raising the vibrations, the heartbeat by swaying the arms back and forth, and also rocking into the knees when you feel like you're ready to add even more motion into it. I'm starting to connect my movements with my breath, so I am lifting my arms over the head and I'm breathing into it. As I inhale, I lift, and as I exhale, I start to also bend my knees and squat into it while I am staying onto my tippy toes for add a little bit more challenge with my balance, but you could keep your heels down. After this, I'm going to start to tiptoe up and down my mat, keeping my arms lifted over the head to keep that balance again really challenged, but you could keep your arms by your side or to your body if that allows you to stay more focused and present and feel less shaky. Then we swap it out for heel walks, so literally same thing, but you're walking on your heels. See if you can stay with the toes lifted, but it's fine obviously. If it falls down, then it falls down. Again, a little bit more shaking, a little bit more letting go. Just sway the hips, sway the knees, sway the arms, jiggle into it. There's so much power in shaking out any kind of stagnant energy, stagnant thoughts from the body. I find it such a simple but yet such a beneficial movement practice whenever I'm sitting down and working for long hours at my desk. Also starting to move a little bit into the side body, so I'm lifting one arm out to one side while the other one sways across my hip, and really just leaning into it, maybe with each round a little bit more, and then progressing that into full circles. So with both of my arms over the head, I start to sway out to one side, bringing my arms all the way down and circle up and across. And after a few rounds to one direction with these circles, I switch to the other side. So now we are also involving the back body. your legs, and we're gonna end up in a forward fold to take it more into your hamstrings. From there, we're gonna rise up rounding, so through flexion, and reach the arms over the head on your inhale. On your exhale, you squeeze your elbows down by your side and you squeeze the scapula, squeeze the lats, lifting up from the chest. So you're going between flexion and extension in the spine. Now on reverse, when we start to go down, we're going to dive forward rounding, so through flexion. On your inhale, halfway lift, flat back, side bend in the knees, and rise with that flat back. Again, exhale into that same W shape with your elbows, and you just repeat. So after a few rounds of those, we're going to take it into twisting from a forward fold. So keep down, folding down from your hips. Start bending into your knees. As you bend your right knee, you lift your left arm, look to that side, and then switch sides. Always bending the knee on the leg that's opposite to where you're looking. And you can add some binds, meaning you can hold that pose. You can loop your right hand around your lower back, and then next time your left hand is up, you loop the left hand around your lower back. You can even add an arm underneath the thigh that is bent the knee. And eventually we're gonna cool off in a bit of a forward fold with either palms below your feet or peace fingers wrapping around your big toes and slightly pulling the elbows sideways. You can stay still, or you can take some rocking motion, bending into your knees up and down just to make it a little bit more dynamic. After a few of those, with your inhale again, few sway side to side, and then we're going to start to rise into those actual sun salutations. So plant your palms down, step back, plank pose. With your exhale, you bend your elbows, and with control, you start to lower towards the ground. On your inhale, you're lifting from the chest, from the crown of the head, squeezing the lats into that cobra shape. Doesn't have to be high. On your exhale, you lower yourself to the ground and rise into your downward facing dog, which is essentially an inverted V-like shape. You can keep as much bend in your knees as you want. Feet can be together or wide apart. But push down through your fingertips. Feel like you're lifting out of your arms whilst you're lifting the tailbone slightly up. After that, inhale, looking forward towards your hands. You're going to step, walk, or lightly hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, and push to rise all the way to standing, reaching your arms towards the sky. Exhale, hands towards your body in a prayer or by your side into a mountain pose. Take a breath in and a breath out. We're going to repeat. Inhale, reach your arms over your head. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, hands to the mat, step again or hop back into plank position. Exhale, bend from your elbows. You can take the same variation as before, lowering with control in your half chaturanga when your knees are down, or full chaturanga dandasana would be knees staying in the air, halfway of the mat. On your inhale, pushing up into your either cobra again, that's when your hips are down, or if your hips are hovering off the mat, that's what we call upward facing dog. Still lifting up from the crown of the head, and the back body is engaged, including your glutes ever so slightly. On your exhale, you're retracting back to that downward facing dog shape. You could use your knees on the mat for more support. And in your own pace, gaze forward, step with your other foot, usually it's the left one, to the top of the mat if you are stepping, or hop. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fall down. Inhale, rise up all the way to standing. Carry your arms over your head. Bring your hands down. Take a breath in and out. Next, inhale, reach your arms over the head. And again, exhale, fall down. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Maybe hands onto your shins if you want. Exhale, place your hands down, step or hop back. Once again, plank. Or you can even land into bent elbows to what we call chaturanga dandasana. From there, as you lower on your exhale, inhale, you lift upward dog or cobra, and exhale, pushing back, downward facing dog. If you want to take a little break, you can always find a seat instead of your downward dog or a child's pose as well. Child's pose is knees on the mat, hips towards your heels or the ground, and your head towards the ground if it can touch the ground, or block below the head. From your salutations A, we're taking it into salutations B. This time, from your downward facing dog, we're gonna add a lift on the right leg. Inhale, right leg reaches. We're gonna add a little twist to our salutation B's here. So you're gonna bend that right knee, opening the hip to the side of the room, lifting the knee high up and squeezing your heel towards your bum as much as you can. You're gonna feel a lovely stretch on your back body. Breathe here. We're going to step that right foot forward. So draw your right knee either towards your chest or towards the side of your body, whatever allows you to be more flexible. And step that foot right behind your hand if you can, or as close as it can land. You can always use your hand to adjust. We're going to rise into either warrior one, or modified warrior one would be your high lunge. So that's when you are on your tucked toes on your back foot. In your warrior one, your heel is touching the ground and your hips and your chest are more or less pointing forward, although they can be in a small degree out to the side, again depending on your body, the range of mobility. It might be beneficial to not have the front and the back heel in one line as in the traditional alignment, but instead have a small gap sideways towards the edges of your mat. You might find more support in that stance and more range of mobility again. In your warrior one, we're gonna add a little bend on the elbows, scapular squeeze again, lift from the sternum, and on your exhale, reach the arms over the head, frame the front foot as you dive down. Step back into your three-legged downward facing dog, step your foot down, switch legs. So the other leg goes up, repeating the same thing. Find your hip opener, and then step into your warrior one or your high lunge. Taking that same opening on the chest, inhale, reach your arms up, exhale, squeeze the elbows down, lift the chest. Very good. Breathe with your breathing in and then breathing out, folding down, framing the front foot. Very good. From your downward dog, you're transitioning to the top of the mat. We're going to come up to a chair. So inhale, halfway lift, push yourself up, bend into your knees, sit into your heels, maybe arms over the head, in front of you, by your side. To spice it up, to challenge your balance, lift your heels up, stay onto your tippy toes if you can. Same thing as before, exhale, fold down. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, stepping back, plank, or you can jump into chaturanga. Take your vinyasa flow. So exhale to lower, inhale to open the heart space. Exhale back into your V-shaped downward dog. And we're going to take it again. Inhale, right leg up, three-legged dog on that right leg. Bend your knee for your hip opener. And then step that foot forward with your exhale. On your inhale, you're rising up warrior one or your high lunge. Exhale, you're bending your elbows, lifting the chest for that heart opener, and then flow all the way down. You can repeat that rhythm with your arms a couple times if you prefer. Repeat on the other side. So inhale, stepping forward, rising up, warrior one or high lunge, taking that heart opener on your arms, and exhale, folding down. From your downward dog, gaze to the top of your mat, step or jump all the way back, and find your chair again. See if you can this time hold it a little bit longer, either on your tippy toes or on your heels. So maybe 3 to 5 breaths. Once you've done that, we're going to fold down, exhale all the way. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, step or jump back. It is a lot of the same thing. If you're feeling a bit hot like me, take your shirt off. From your vinyasa flow, we are meeting back in that downward facing dog, and we're going to add one more variation to it. So from that hip opener in your three-legged dog, reach your right leg up, bend the knee, squeeze the heel towards your bum. We're going to roll into a side plank. So side plank options, you can have your knee down to the ground for support, and then the other one extended. You can have your feet stacking one on top of the other at the end of the mat, so both of the legs are straight. You can also take a tree variation, so you keep one knee bending in the air and the foot tapping down alongside that other leg that's extended at the bottom. Or you can rise into wild things. So from that tree-like shape, as you bend the upper knee, you step that right foot, in my case at least, all the way down behind you. And on your inhale, you lift the hips up, keeping that one knee bent, the other leg long. You lift the hips up and you lift out from your shoulder by pushing into your hand, ever so slightly engaging the glutes by squeezing onto them. You're going to open into what we call wild thing. You can reach your right arm over your head, over to the back of the room. And then you transition back to where you started. From that side plank, step the other leg forward for your warrior one. Complete your normal salutation B, as we've done it until now with that heart opener. And then meeting on the other side. From your downward facing dog, your left leg reaches up, bend that left knee, open the hip, transitioning onto that right wrist, keeping onto that right side. Either supported side plank, so the right knee down to ground. Option 2, both legs extended, whether they are stuck in the feet or one in front of the other. Or tree shape kind of variation with the left knee up in the air. Perhaps stepping the left foot all the way down behind you, setting up for your wild thing. You're lifting up the hips. You really need to push through those limbs. Feel like you're lifting out of the ground, reaching up from the chest, maybe left arm pulling all the way behind you. Exhale to lower. Calm with the hips down, roll back. And as you roll back, instead of a plank, you step that left foot forward for your high lunge or your warrior one. Very nice. Take that flow the same way as you did. Now, if this was a little bit quick, feel free to pause the video and rewatch it. It's a little bit harder to cue a video than a real person. Getting into your downward facing dog, we're going to transition to the top of the mat, arriving into a chair pose. So inhale, halfway lift, rise up, bending the knees, lowering the hips. And then we're gonna start to add a little bit of balancing. So we're gonna lean to one foot, reach the other one into your bum. So I'm gonna turn sideways to show you both sides. You bend one knee, bring the heel to your bum, switch to the other leg. Ever so slightly shifting your weight side to side. If you wanna spice it up, challenge your balance further, see if you can do the same thing on your tippy toes. Notice that I'm ever so slightly leaning forward my weight with my chest to counterbalance. You can do that. Sometimes it even helps to reach the arms forward. Now you're going to rise tall on those legs. So standing tall, maybe a slight bend in a standing leg. We're going to take it into our densest pose. So you're going to take your right heel into your bum, find your foot behind you with your hand or with your strap as you grab a good hold of it. On your inhale, you hinge from your hips forward, leaning like you're coming into warrior three shape. It's a shape where you are parallel to ground, but instead of staying parallel, we're going to lift up. So you're going to start to push your foot into your hand up and behind you and lift your chest up. Think about a cobra shape. Notice I'm doing it in few rounds. You don't have to push yourself too hard. Give yourself time to test out this movement in few rounds. Every day will feel differently. And then you're going to do the same thing on the side. So you take your left heel to your bum, find your foot. On your inhale, hinge from your hips forward, reach your other arm away from you. So you can counterbalance, push that foot up in the air into your left hand, very nice. Breathe, engage the back body, engage your glutes. It's gonna help you, really nice. And then another option that you can try to build up to that densest pose, if you are not quite feeling it today, is coming into that warrior three that I just mentioned, but you're gonna do a slight lift. Think about you standing in a cobra-like shape, but hovering on that one leg instead of being supported by the mat. So you're gonna take it into standing balance. So whichever leg, starting on the right leg, bring your left foot all the way behind you, lift the chest, peel the arms open by your side. So it's a warrior three, but with a slight lift. Once you've done it on both sides, had a little bit of fun, we're gonna fold all the way down to cool down. Maybe even glide your hands once again below your feet. You can step into them. Or you could take your peace fingers around your big toes, slightly pulling the elbows apart. You can keep as much bend in your knees as you want to, as you need to. A forward fold isn't perfect by having straight hamstrings, straight legs. It's not a thing. Breathing out here for as long as it's comfortable for you. I'm going to stay here for quite a while to just allow my breath to come back to its normal rhythm. And eventually I'm going to bend my knees and find a seat in this squatted hug. If you want to sit on a block instead, if you want to lay down on your mat or sit on the mat, do whatever you need to do to just bring it all back in and give yourself a moment of gratitude. Thank yourself for moving your body, for joining me today, for trying something new, for taking time out of your day for you and you only. And then a deep breath into that and out. Fabulous. You're gonna rise up and carry on with our day. Roll up your mat, tidy up your space, go have fun. So that was day 1 of our creatively sequenced Sun Salutations done. So Monday checked off the list, and I'll check back in with you tomorrow, which will be Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me once again. If you'd like to stay connected, you can follow me on my Instagram. All the handles are up on the screen. It's Federica Pinter. You can also get me a coffee if you'd like to support me with your pennies at buymecoffee.com. Again, link in the description box below. And if you'd like to get the yoga mat that I'm practicing on, also link below. This is not sponsored video, but it is a brand of my friend that I truly love, and it's the same brand I have a collaboration with for my yoga bags. So I do know how much I love them. This week is a little bit different as we're doing the videos daily. Next week it will be going back to weekly videos. Let me know if you enjoy this kind of content. Maybe I can bring it back forward in future. It does take a little bit more planning and an entire week of pre-recording and editing it, but I don't mind doing it if there is interest for it. Have an awesome rest of your Monday evening, folks. Bye! Oh, of course, subscribe!